Hey class of hey Mustangs. Today we're doing another video with Austin YouTube channel. So make sure to go subscribe to the channel, like the video, and comment down below what other topics you would like to see. But today we're Mr. Perkins, Miss Evans, and Miss Merlin. So today I'm gonna answer them quick questions, about the topic of COVID-19. We're all locked down during this pandemic, and we I wanna ask them questions about personal stuff and also how related to COVID-19, how they handle their life and their everyday based on the COVID-19. And hope you guys enjoyed this video. And thank you guys for watching this video. So number one question is gonna be open for everybody. It's gonna be what are your thoughts about this pandemic and how it changed your life?
Well, I'll jump in right quick on changing my life is that I don't go to places that I used to go to. It has definitely slowed me down. I care for my mom who is elderly and has a couple of underlying conditions. So to make sure she's safe, I typically go only to the grocery store and home. I started venturing out to Walmart early. I go very early in the morning so that I'm there before the crowds come. And then now I do go to work, but I definitely keep my mask on. I try to stay in the room as much as in my office as much as I can. But it definitely changed my where I go and how often I go and my thoughts of what I do when I go out because I'm hand sanitized down, Lysol from top to bottom when I'm coming back into the house. So it definitely changes and it makes my view look different when I'm out and I see people with masks on. In my mind, I'm thinking, we're the United States of America and we're walking around with masks on. It just makes me look at it totally different because you see pictures and videos of other countries that wore masks before because of pollution, but now we're wearing masks for our livelihood and our safety and our health. So it definitely gives me a different perspective on what's going on.
I agree. Mr. Perkins, do you have any?
To add on to what Miss Evans just said, it's been a complete culture change for me. Um, I like to be, my preference is to be in the classroom, not to be online. And Miss Evans and I, we had a couple of conversations when we found out that we were coming back virtual. That's why she's laughing. I fought that tooth and nail. And just like everything, it's what it's a change. And people like change and people don't like change. People like change because it's change, and people don't like change because it's change. It disrupts their daily everyday. I've been teaching for 16 years. So for 15 and a half, this year 16, for 15 and a half years, I would wake up, go to work, clock in, start my day, have an off period, clock out, go home. That was life. That was the routine. Now, when COVID hit, it's like, wait a minute, you can't go to work, but you still have to work. But you can't be in front of anybody because if you're in front of somebody, they might get you sick, you might get them sick, and then what if y'all die? So now I had to readjust everything that I did. I've gotten used to it. I've gotten used to it. And I think for the most part, the majority of the teachers that are not introverts are going to wait for the day to when we can actually get in front of people. Meanwhile, the teachers that aren't introverts are going to be like, oh, we got to go back to this. We got to go back to this. So it's been a whole life-changing experience. It's been a whole life-changing experience, and it's caused me to take into consideration other people because you can't tell if somebody has an underlying condition. The only reason I know about Miss Evans's mom is because we've talked about her mom. And I know her mom has an underlying condition. So if normally I'm 2 feet away from Miss Evans, now I have to make sure I'm at least 6.5 feet because if I go 5.5 feet, she's going to take 2 steps back. I know that. I know that about her. So it's like, okay, I got to stay over here and I'm wearing a mask. So now I have to talk even louder because the mask muffles things. The same thing with Miss Marilyn. We've had conversation about her parents and her daughter. So it's like, she'll say, hey, and then she'll look at me and be like, back up, don't get too close. I don't know how this is going to end. I got folk at my house that I got to go see about. And it just caused me to be considerate and cognizant that just because you look like you're a normal person doesn't mean that you're a normal person. And it forced me to think deeper than that.
Yeah. So I think for me, the way the pandemic has changed my life, I have a 13-year-old in my house. And I can tell you, outside of the pandemic, we got along very well. What? During the pandemic, we were about to pull each other's hair out, being stuck with each other. No, but I guess I'm looking at it from the perspective of, I made her stay home the first cycle of her grading period of her school years, and because I was afraid of her being out in public and going to school, but it did open my eyes up to how much she needed that interaction, that socialization with other kids, and just being out the house. She, finally sat us down and said, I'm so tired of going to grandma's house, sitting in the room, working on this computer. So it just kind of opened my eyes to that perspective, and taking into consideration where her learning was kind of stagnant, being at home, working online from the computer. So I let her go back, and COVID is here, it's everywhere. So it's just gonna take us being precautious. I'm really a lot more focused on the mask, and when I'm out looking at people who are not wearing masks, and I'm slowly starting to say something to them because they are putting other people around them at risk. So it's just kind of opened our eyes a little bit more to safety. I think it also took away us being, personable with people, because you can't do that anymore, and it has made me aware of how much I miss students and being here on campus. So, hey, I thought I'll never say that with those ninth graders coming back, but I miss them a lot. For all students.
I agree with all y'all different perspectives, and how y'all said about the pandemic. But the second question, we're gonna get straight to it because we only have a short amount of period. Is what did you learn about yourself during the lockdown? Any new habits? And first, I just want to uh say about my perspective as a Mustang, and what habits did I learn in this lockdown. First of all, I just learned how to be grateful for things. I took a lot of things for granted when school was here. When we would be face to face, like seeing my peers, the students, and having to sometimes handshake their hands, or even give them a hug sometimes. Every day I will go to the cafeteria in the morning, have that experience, and see all my the peers around me, and the staff, the teachers, get along with them. And Miss Marilyn, Miss Evans, I would, on a daily basis, I would say good morning and good afternoon. So I just kind of missed that experience, and I just had to take a step back and just really be grateful for that. That we take a lot of things for granted, and one of them was being in the classroom with all our students and the teacher. The relationship with the teachers as well. Every day, building that relationship with my teachers, and like now that the pandemic happened, knowing that I wasn't going to be able to see my teachers and my friends, it was really heartbreaking. But I just really had to get used to the new schedule, and knowing that I had to be in four walls every day, and I couldn't really go outside, because I have two little brothers, 1 year old, and if I'm irresponsible and I'm out there with everybody, I could possibly bring on the virus home, and my little brother or my dad would, he's old, and he could possibly die. So yeah, just take a step back, and be grateful for the things that I have, and learn about gratitude. Learn about gratitude. What really matters. Sometimes we think that materialistic stuff matter, but it doesn't really. What matters is the people that genuinely love us and are around us, spending quality time with them. But what habits did y'all learn and during this lockdown?
I would say I learned how to have fun and not be out. Like my peers from my last school, we normally would meet like every Friday on Zoom. That's a way where we can try to still have fun, laugh, talk, and socialize, but not be like in the same space. There's like other apps that I started using and stuff like that on the phone too, where you can have like digital parties and stuff like that. So just trying to learn how to have fun and be safe. And also, I think probably like identifying what issues other people have as well, because like that's not something that I think that most of us would have focused on before now, like what is going on in other people's lives, who are around them that actually need help, kind of like how Mr. Perkins was saying about Ms. Evans, right? Knowing who you're around and knowing what they're dealing with is not something that always is shared with us, so we don't get the closeness to people to know how to support them, or even in a lot of ways what they're going through. We have right now a situation where we get to learn more about what they're going through, and so we get to support other people's journey where we didn't used to have to be able to. I guess where it wasn't even a need, like it wasn't a concern, but it could have been, but it wasn't. So another habit that I picked up now is trying to make sure to find ways to support those that showcase to us that they need that support or that they have the extra things going on. So being there for others. Mm-hmm.
So some of the things that I've kind of learned during this pandemic is I learned how to do TikToks with my child. So we've been TikToking videos. I've picked up cooking more, which I know she's probably excited about that because once she turned 13, she was kind of on her own with cooking. No, I'm just kidding. But, just doing more things around the house. I put up my own Christmas lights during this pandemic because I didn't have money to pay for it. So, yeah, I climbed on the house and put up Christmas lights. So just doing more things around the house and then interacting with my child more.
I found out, like Mr. Mackey, I don't have to go out to eat as much. I don't have to go places. I don't particularly miss it per se. I know now that I don't have to do certain things. I treated, I think it took me about 3 or 4 months before I treated myself to a takeout meal. And that was exciting. But then by the time I came home and did all the cleaning and wiping off and changing the containers and all that stuff, I was like, oh, this is more work than I want it to be. I can just cook at home. But for like the first maybe 6 or 7 weeks, because I cook anyway, but I was able to cook I had to cook every day. And so I would log my meals and I would post them. Mm-hmm. And I said, okay, week 2 quarantine meals for the week. And it was like, oh, you gonna share that? What you gonna do? You gonna write a cookbook? I'm like, I'm just trying to have some fun with what's going on, since I'm not showing pictures of other foods or going other places. And so about after 7 to 8 weeks, I said, well, there's no need for me to keep posting because it looks like this quarantine thing is lasting much longer than we thought. So, that's something that I took on to make people look forward to looking for something or seeing, or could you send me that recipe? Could you, especially when I show the pictures of the food and not just a listing of them. So finding out that staying at home, I'm okay with staying at home. I'm okay with watching movies. I'm okay with, doing like Miss Marilyn said, things around the house, because you technically could not go anywhere and should not go anywhere. And so I, as Marilyn said, I spend more money at the grocery store because I had to stop looking at the cost of toilet paper and paper towels because I had to have it. So I just stopped looking. And when they rang it up, I was like, okay, because it wasn't on sale. It wasn't a particular, I had to get what was there. And so I was like, okay. And I'm like, now I still can't even really, I just get it. Because I would never have paid that amount for paper towels before in my life without a coupon or it being on sale. So I'm like, okay. But that's something I had to adjust to, was that I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna look at this cost. My bill gonna be higher than normal, but I need it and I better get it while I can get it, So, and learning to definitely check on people, we started up a Bible study on Zoom, before a group of my friends, we've all ventured off to different churches. And so we didn't do Bible study anymore. And Mom been sick, so I haven't gone to Bible study. So now we on Zoom for the past, 5 months, back together having Bible study on Zoom, which is something we could have done before the pandemic, but it makes you think a little different. Like, okay, we just get on and still have it now, and we don't have to be in each other's house or at a location at the church or anything. So.
For me, it caused me to realize this one thing, and that is it's okay if your body picks up a few pounds trying to save you during a pandemic. That is perfectly okay. I stepped on the scale the other day and I was like, well, I was like, you know what? I'm alive, so I'm good. One thing that I have picked up during this pandemic has been a camera, and I thoroughly enjoy it. And I got this one yesterday, and the first one that I picked up was this one, and so I'm ready to see what's going to happen with this camera.
No, that's amazing. Picking up new habits and things that you could really enjoy during this quarantine. But yeah, we're gonna get straight to the other one. Students only escape with dealing with anxiety or going through abusive relationship at home with school, and now that they don't have that option, what do you guys think that those students that were going through an anxiety and dealing with an abusive relationship at home, now they have to be at home most of the time 24/7. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, you
Miss Marilyn?
go ahead.
Oh, I thought Miss Marilyn would go first.
I will. So, I think one of the things that I've done as an administrator, and just knowing my ninth graders, those students that I am or was familiar with that was already dealing with some family issues, just making sure I'm still checking in with them, through Teams. I get and being available, even if it's in after work. When they wake up, it's like they're vampires and they wake up late, stay up late. So just being available for them to check in with me. I don't mind certain students have my who needs to get in touch with me. I give my number out and to parents. So just being available for those students. And then just checking in to see if they're okay. They're MIA, making sure we are, doing some drive-by knocks to get them up and going. But yeah, I think one of the things, the isolation is really hurting this age group because they are used to being out and about. And so that's one of the things that we're pushing and hoping parents start allowing them to come back slowly to campus so they can have that to be social and interaction with students and people.
Yeah. I think that in addition to what Ms. Marilyn said, some of what she does, I do too. Like with the being available and then being able to have the number to be able to get in contact, I think that that's a big deal. As a teacher, I think that in the last semester, we talked about this a lot at school, the changes and things that our students will be dealing with a little bit more, the things that we know that some of them might be dealing with that we are able to help them with by them coming to school and then not being able to have that access to them like that is something that, has been challenging and that we have communicated with each other as a staff at Austin about. And so I can tell you personally as a teacher, what I do, because it is a big deal to me and I do normally like to try to keep a close eye on my students. In this case, I think it's all about building the relationships and that's the game changer. So I try to let my students know, that I'm an open book and that that they can always communicate with me and that I try to be personable with them in that way so that they know that they can communicate even virtually where they can still build that relationship with you. Those that I have more of a personal relationship with, like my young entrepreneurs, for example, I do try to extend myself out so that I can be like a member of their family almost, so that way they can see that bridge being there. So if they needed an outside resource, they know that they have a safe place where they can go, whether we're virtual or not, that the relationship is still there. And that's what I try to do because it is real and it's disheartening. And we do, I think as a staff and a district, probably as a state and a nation, need to try to find better ways or even more ways than what we have done so far to try to really address this particular topic in this particular situation.
Yes, the social emotional learning and dealing with things at home and not being at school is definitely a challenge during this virtual world, especially for the freshmen who are coming into a school where they have no connection. And that's the hard part. Freshmen come in already with a struggle adjusting to high school, but you're coming in now at the low man on a totem pole again, and you don't know anybody there. So it's a lot harder. And then when you're afraid to turn on your camera or you're afraid to reach out to a teacher, it makes it doubly intensifying the difficulty of making that connection to say, who can I go to ask this for help? Because, you know, there was always somebody, even if it was walking down the hall and I smile at this person all the time, I don't know their name, but if they needed something to say, well, I know that lady right there smiles at me all the time and I hear her talking to people. So let me go to her to see if she could help me, you know, or like now I reach out to kids who I've had in my class before. Like I started seeing kids coming on campus say, what happened? Have you been here? No, I had been doing my work at home. So I had to come back to campus. I said, but you're a senior this year, right? She said, yeah. I said, well, did you, trying to catch what they were missing. And I had to go and I looked her up and I gave her grades and I told her what she needs to make on these classes that she failed in the first 6 weeks. These are the grades you need to make at least this number to pass now, because she's smart, but it's just that idea of being at home. And if you don't have a support system or your parents believe that you're telling them that you're doing work, because, oh, he on the computer all day. Well, ma'am, he's on the computer, but he's not doing his work. Okay, so go on the other side and check what you see on the screen because he's not there. So it's definitely a very fine line to have to teeter across with students. At least the upperclassmen have somebody can go to. They just do, and the underclassmen don't. And then in the idea of you saying being in a household that's abusive, that's definitely a reason for them to reach out to somebody, just to give them a crumb to say, let me see how they're gonna respond and see if they can give me some help, because they can't do it by themselves. If you're watching, you can't do it by yourself. So reach out to that one person. You see our names on here. Find us at Austin High School and reach out to us, and we'll definitely try to find somebody to help you if we don't know what to do. There's enough people that we can find to give you some assistance or find ways for you to cope with what's going on in your life right now. Okay, even if this will help with work, help with food, help with trying to get a job, help with just supplies of paying bills. We have the community and schools on our campus, and they assist finding you places. It's not that we can give you the money, but they can find you the avenues to be able to get the assistance that's needed. Okay.
Man, Mauricio, on some level, everybody is struggling in this pandemic. Everybody. And to those that are listening, like Ms. Evans just said, look at our names, ping us. We will get you help. And if we can't get you help, we will put you in contact with somebody that can get you help. Because like Ms. Evans said, nobody is self-made. Nobody can do all of this by themselves. It takes help from other people to help get you to where you need to be. And that's it. As far as your question about abuse, again, if you're watching and you are in an unfavorable situation, or you need something, or you feel like your life is being threatened, say something. Ping us, and we'll go from there. If you tell us, we are required by law to tell somebody else within 24 hours. And if we don't, then we lose our jobs, and we're not going to lose our jobs. I can guarantee you that. That's what we're not going to do. And so, with all that being said, if you need help, ask. You open your mouth to eat. Open your mouth to advocate for yourself. Only you can advocate for yourself. And once you start advocating for yourself, then some other people can give you some more perspectives and help you to make some more informed decisions.
An old adage is a closed mouth don't get fed. So all you got to do is open it up and let us know.
Mm-hmm.
I agree 100%. Another thing I would like to add on to this question is like you really got to change who you're listening to when you're in social media. Well, me as a public figure, I really, when I follow the people that I follow on my Instagram are people that are entrepreneurs or that are positive people that are just putting out positive content and positive messages. So when I wake up in the morning, it's just really about first thing on when I put my earbuds in, who am I listening to? Do I listen to bad people or do I listen to positive people? putting out positive affirmations to the world. So when I listen, I just, remind myself how blessed I am. On my journal, I write 3 things that I'm grateful for. And it just helps me, during these hard times, looking at the news, having to, COVID cases and people always, in the news that the people passing away because of COVID. It's just really about who you're listening to. If you're listening to people that gives you an anxiety and people that put these negative thoughts, just change who you're listening. You can always do that. When you follow people on social media, I always follow people that are high, like they got a high successful mindset, high achiever mindset. So it just keeps me going throughout my day. I'm a human being. I go through an anxiety. I go through days where I don't feel like waking up out of bed, but I just remind myself how blessed I am and how I'm grateful to even be in America. How I'm grateful to have my parents didn't have this opportunity, and now I get to get to continue this legacy from my family, and it's just a beautiful thing. It's about who you're listening to in this pandemic. But most students that there's the other question. Most students that I've spoken in regard to this pandemic have said that this is one of the best things throughout their educational journey. What is your response? Most of them don't like to show up to class. Most of them don't, you know, don't really like, the way that school was set up. But now they only have to, go in their computer and log into Teams, and they're in class. So what is your response to that?
I would like to know who said that. The math department had a meeting today that gave some data that was a little bit different than what you just said. It was a little bit different. I will name no names and I will give no figures. Just understand that the information that we got today was a little bit different than that, especially with the lower grades. A lot of good things have come out of this pandemic. Also, a lot of unfortunate things have come out of this. I believe it's your perspective, like you said earlier, and what you do with it. You can always take lemons and make lemonade. You can always do that. You can also let milk sit out to where it spoils. Both are good, both are bad. It just depends on what you do with it. You can make lemonade out of lemons, or you can make cheese out of spoiled milk. It all depends on what you choose to do with it, how you choose to view it, what your perspective is. How you choose to go about your business on a daily basis will determine what you do. I read this earlier this year, and it was a quote that says, what you did last year at this time determines where you are today. So if you want to be somewhere else different next year, what you do today will start you on that journey.
So I think of it 2 ways. I think this pandemic, and which your audience that you ask those questions to, I think this pandemic and being virtual school have made some students very lazy. Okay, it's very easy for them to sleep longer, not meet the expectations of being in class on time. It is also easy if they do not have, if parents are working and they're expected to do all of this on their own and not have that management piece. And I think it has made them lazy. I also think it has made some kids who are, able to manage themselves and know the importance that I need to be on time, I need to be in my class, I need to get my work done. It helped those students to really understand the importance of independence and being able to function outside of the norm, right? And those students are going to be a lot more successful when, just being able to adjust to different situations. So, I'm just going to say this, for the way we are now and what is going on with our failure rate and attendance, I wish all students will come back in person. Okay. And I know we can't do that, or that call hasn't been made, but it has really put education is really a concern, and moving forward with what students are learning and retaining. So, and it's scary.
I can see where he would have gotten that response from. I hear students say things similar to that as well. I've actually heard that more than I would think. That it was shocking, because I would think that, oh, the immediate response, yes, I want to be back at school. Yes, I miss school. And even from last school year, that's not really the response that I personally was getting from students. I got the response sounds like what he heard. I'm pointing like he's like right on me, but he's on the screen. And so that's not shocking. I will say that a lot of it does stem to what Ms. Marilyn just said, though. I think that students, anytime you give students like a sense of freedom, something that allows them more room to do the things that they want to do, whether that be right or wrong, then, they're into it. Who wouldn't be? Like if you put a big cake in front of me and I shouldn't eat all the cake, but then you leave out of the room, I don't know, I might eat the cake. So it's just, what will you do with that freedom? You need to, and we do have some students, we do have some students that are doing the right things, that are not taking advantage of it. And maybe they are not extroverted. And so they are enjoying the not having to operate in school in that way. And they're doing the right thing. So that's great for those students. But we know, referring back to the numbers that Mr. Perkins are talking about on campus, we know that actually a lot of our students are struggling, with this newfound freedom that they have, whether they like it or not. They're actually struggling from it. And, as a teaching staff, we're trying to find ways to keep our students moving forward without this being a season that's damaging to them after we're out of this pandemic. So with that in mind, I would definitely challenge the students to, while we're in this pandemic, to take their work more serious and to actually do what they're supposed to do. Follow that schedule, get up out of that bed and be on time to these virtual classes. Whatever damage you do to yourself in this pandemic, on that transcript, you're taking the transcript with you. So if you're that 11th grader that's looking to go to college or not, trade school, or just have a bright future, don't let this be the season where you have all this freedom that you're enjoying so much be the thing that you have to take with you, okay, on your journey. That's what I would challenge the students to do. Enjoy it while you can be at home. If you are enjoying it, that's wonderful. I'm glad you see something bright, in this moment, but don't do any damage to your transcript while we're trying to navigate this situation.
And don't expect a free pass.
And that's where I was going with my next comment, since everybody said what they said, because of how it suddenly happened in March, and there were some concessions that were made at the end of the school year. Many students started this school year thinking, oh, it's going to happen the same way, and thinking, oh, they can't do this and they can't do that. The state can do a lot of things, ladies and gentlemen, and they're the ones who make the decisions. So when they make that decision that you have to have these credits, you have to have these certain number of hours, you have to do the same thing at school, the same number of hours, same number of classes you have to do in-person school that you have to do virtually, they made that decision. They haven't backtracked since we started. I just want you to pay attention to that. They haven't backtracked. Your first 6 weeks grade was there. Your second six weeks grade is there. And now Ms. Marilyn is working on that camp to try to get some of you to get some recovery in your second 6 weeks, because again, the state made the rule, they made the law, they made the statement, this is the expectation. And you guys, at first it was like, oh yeah, I'm at home, I'll have to do this. As Mr. Mackey said, there's this gap now going to be in your education. And this year may all be funny. This year, all the way to May, this whole school year could be a different type of school year. And you guys as teenagers and whoever's watching, the students have to understand that because this wrench was thrown into our life, that kind of stuff happens. And we have to learn how to adjust and to assimilate to what's going on. And that is doing the work we need to do on the computer. Do everybody like it? No, because that's one of the things I said at the beginning for students. Yes, there's online school. It's been online school for years, but people who do online school, they choose to do it. And I know many of you did not choose to do it. So now we have to adjust. Teachers didn't, again, teachers who teach online choose to teach online. Teachers who don't want to teach online don't, because they know what goes on there. Okay, they know what happens. So, and this is just a part of life. And you'll look back in 20, 30 years, say, oh yeah, you remember when that pandemic happened and what we had to do? And yeah, baby, go to school, because I had to go to summer school for 5 classes. I had to go to night school, day school, summer school, all the schools to get my credit, because I messed up when I had the opportunity to do it now. So yeah, it's a one side, oh yeah, I'm at home, I have that freedom. And if you don't have the structure to follow, then that's why you fall off, because that's one thing you learn in teacher school. Students need structure. And so no matter if you don't like it, when you have it at school, you function a little better. It may only be 10 or 20% that we have to fight with. Now it's about 60 to 70% we have to fight with to do what they need to do, because you know what the expectation is at school, because your teacher not looking at you like Miss Evans look at you to tell you to do your work, because there's nobody there, or your mama tell you to do the work and like, well, she don't know if I'm doing it or not, and you try to get away with it. And you're only hurting yourself right now, because now, again, that credit in January, when we finish this semester, you're going to see what that credit happens. And it's not going to miraculously turn into, oh, we're going to give them their credit. No, you didn't do the work. You have to do your work to get your credit. This is school. It's real school. It's our real school. It's our reality right now. So hopefully you can turn over a new leaf, do this ABC camp for those who are at Austin to try to get some credit, bring your credit up so you can earn your credit for this semester. And you notice that we don't have finals this week because school started 2 weeks late, so the semester gonna end after Christmas. Rather, it's different, and we have to adjust to that difference. And some of you don't adjust that well, but this is gonna be a trying time. Some of you have adjusted, and kudos to you. Pull your friends over to your side now and bring them over to the train where we going. Because if they're not on this train, they're gonna be left at the stop, and we don't want them left at that same stop for another 6 months or a year. Okay, that's
So
just Miss Evans.
Before we wrap it up, there's the last. You can make this 20 seconds, not too long, so we can wrap it up on time. A piece of advice you would like to give us, Austin Mustangs, or the staff. Just 20 seconds, something that you would just like to tell them before we wrap this video up.
Come back to school. Come back to our new building. My 10th graders, come back to me. I miss you guys. I miss all students. So stay safe, take care of yourself, your family, but if you can, come back to campus.
I agree with Miss Marilyn. I'm piggyback. Come back to the beautiful campus. The videos that you have seen does not do the campus justice. If you've never had a new school in your school life, this is going to blow your mind. So if you can come back, come back. Please do your work. If you don't know how, reach out to your teachers, because you may not be logging into Teams, but you logging into YouTube. So you're looking at this. So reach out to your teachers, call the school number 713-916-700 to come. Did I say that right, Miss Marilyn? Did I get a number right? I'm sorry. I can't remember. 1600. Say it one more time, Miss Marilyn.
713-924-1600.
There we go. That's the number. You don't remember numbers anymore. You just push the button. Miss Marilyn been there long enough, you just remember the number. I don't. But you call it and get some help to try to get your grades in, okay? That's Miss Evans. Y'all be careful, be safe. Have a happy holiday, and Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Yes. Also have a happy holidays first and foremost, because that's where we're about to go. One more day, finish strong before we go. Make sure that you get with your teachers before you go if you're falling behind. Take advantage of those 2 weeks. If you know that your grades are struggling right now and you're listening, like Ms. Evans said, to this video, let something in it spark something in you to do something a little bit differently. Go out and talk to your teachers. If we're going to post this today, it's a Thursday. That means you watching it today or tomorrow. Send your teacher a message on Teams. Hey, miss, hey, mister, I'm trying to get it together. I had a great awakening. What can I do? Give me some work I can do while I'm on break. The teacher's going to say, yes, I'll give you some work. And then you go on break and do it, and then bring it back with you. So that way we can get you back on track, right? That's what I want for you to do. Have a happy holiday, but use the time also wisely and be a young adult about it, and get work done that you know that's pending in Teams or wherever it is at, so that when you come back, you're on a clean slate, everything is anew, and you're no longer behind. It's not too late to not be behind. Just be wise in how you spend your time.
Two things that's really the same thing. The first one is take care of your business in a timely fashion. And the second thing is do the work early with purpose and intention. When you get the work early, when you get the work done early, you have a whole lot of more time to do whatever it is you want to do. And we all know that you want to do whatever it is you want to do, but you can't do whatever it is you want to do when you got some stuff to do that you don't want to do. So do your work early with purpose and intention, and take care of it.
I agree. I just want to tell the Mustangs to take care of their business, take care of school, and all their assignments, whatever they have to get done, and then whatever you want to do. I would also advise, to work out for at least 30 minutes a day. That's kind of one thing that I love to do, work out for 30 minutes, because it gets me more productive. When I work out, I feel better after the workout. So yeah, take care of your business, school, and then once you're done, whatever you want to do is really up to you. But yeah, my advice would be work out for 30 minutes a day or 3 times a week, and you're gonna feel better afterwards.
Yeah.
But thank you guys for coming to this video and answering these questions. It was a nice time spending quality time with you guys and hearing from you guys again. I know that we're in this pandemic, and I haven't really seen your faces in a while, but I'm sure I'm gonna see y'all pretty soon. Mr. Mackey as well. Thank you for your time, Mr. Mackey. Shout out to all the young entrepreneurs of Mr. Mackey and Miss Merlin. It's nice to see you again. Thank you, Miss Evans, once again, and thank you, Mr. Perkins, for your time. And yeah, thank you guys.